What's up, everybody? Welcome in Southeastern 14, another edition of Bets and Ball Games with Edwards and Greeson. And as always, we're brought to you by Bet Online, the top spot for all your live betting action and contest. UFC, NHL, NBA, college basketball in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering needs, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action, along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and remember to use our promo code BELIEVE. That's all caps BLEAV. Again, our promo code all caps BLEAV, and that will give you your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online where the game starts. All right, I'm Brian Edwards, joined by Jay Greeson in Chattanooga. What's up, my man? How we doing?
We're doing great. Feels like springtime here in southeastern Tennessee. Uh, I'm wearing short pants. I'm certain you're wearing short pants. That's just how we operate in this day and age. And we ain't digging ditches, you know it.
No complaints here. No complaints here. All righty, let's start with the updated odds at Bet Online to win the SEC regular season championship. We've been giving these to you every Friday here for 2 or 3 weeks now, and now Alabama is the minus 190 favorite, but they only have a one-game lead on Tennessee. But they get Tennessee in Tuscaloosa, and Tennessee's schedule here down the stretch is brutal. So Tennessee's plus 235, Auburn plus 500, South Carolina 25 to 1, Kentucky 33 to 1, Florida 50 to 1. Before we get to Saturday's action, uh, your thoughts on your trip to Neville Arena last Saturday?
Well, amazingly disappointing. It was the worst game, even as bad as your Gators beat Auburn in the O Dome. Uh, this last Saturday against Kentucky was the worst Auburn's played. They shot it terribly. They looked frustrated and discombobulated. And in some ways, and I had multiple season ticket holders in Auburn's arena tell me this, the college basketball game day atmosphere, while it's great exposure, actually hurts the energy in the arena, and it draws out everything. That game took 3 hours.
Dang
I
it.
mean, that game was a marathon, and halftime and all the other things that I don't know. I mean, I've been to Neville Arena a bunch of times, and none of that, not even the questionable officiating, none of it. Antonio Reeves was the difference. That guy in my mind, he's my SEC Player of the Year, and I know Dalton Connect in Knoxville is doing like game-changing stuff. Antonio Reeves is him in Lexington, and
He has been great this year. And you know what's so funny is he was like, I forget, he was like 1 of 18 or like 2 of 17 in that round of 32 game against Kansas State last year, where I was heavy on K State and Keontae and Marquise Noel and that gang. I was like, yeah, keep shooting, brother. But no, this year he's been fantastic.
I mean, and dude scores like that 52-year-old guy who teaches your Sunday school class in the church league, who takes that extra dribble and then ball fakes and then I'm going to put it off the backboard, and somehow it goes in every single time. So, yep. I mean, Antonio Reeves got an old man game, but he scores. He scores.
Yeah, bucket getter.
I don't know what Auburn's ceiling is. I mean, Auburn is assuredly a tournament team. Auburn, they're fun, but I don't know what their ceiling is. I mean, I don't know. Do we know any? I mean, big picture, who has the highest ceiling in this league? Because I don't think it's Alabama, even though they're the odds-on favorite to win the league. Because they're going to have to outscore you. So if they've got to get a stop, I don't know if they can do it. Now, that said, Nate Oates can coach his whistle off. He's got a punchable face, but that dude can coach his whistle off.
Yeah, and we're going to get to more Kentucky as they've got the marquee game tomorrow with Alabama. But I will just note that they are 316 out of 362 D1 teams in scoring defense. They give up 77.3 per game, but they gave up only 63 to Ole Miss last week, 59 to Auburn. Now they did give up
Auburn.
in Auburn, and so that was a minus 22 result for Auburn at home compared to their worst previous result, which was an 11-point win over A&M, and they lose by 11. But maybe Kentucky is getting better defensively. But in terms
of part of that, hey Brian, a big part of that, no kidding, is DJ Wagner being back, because he harangues whoever's bringing the ball to the floor, and it slows down the other team's offense. It extends their offense to where they're not being able to get to places they want to run their sets. And everything is now 15 feet further out because DJ Wagner he's him. I mean, that guy athletically, I mean, they've got three of the best players in the league coming off the bench. I mean,
right.
Jeff Shepard,
yeah.
Jeff Shepard's boy doesn't start.
Right.
And that guy's going to be a lottery pick.
You don't think he's going to do the one and done thing, do you?
Hell yeah, he is.
Why?
He's a lottery pick. He is a lottery pick.
Oh, you got NIL money at Kentucky. He ain't broke. Oh, man.
He doesn't need NIL money.
I wouldn't want to play at Kentucky, man. You're God at Kentucky if you're one of the star players.
Reed Shepard, the Shepard family is already gods at Kentucky.
I don't know. I'd soak up a little more of that co-ed experience if I were him. But hey, that's just me.
Hey, as somebody who spent 6+ years at Auburn, I can fully endorse that line of thinking. I can fully endorse it.
I was there 6+ years in Gainesville as well. So, yeah. We share those honors.
We did not get any NIL money though.
No, God, no NIL money. All right, we'll probably spend the least time on the first two games, but we'll mention them nonetheless. So noon Eastern tomorrow, and this is on ESPN2. Missouri at Arkansas. So they played in Columbia a couple weeks ago, and Arkansas won that game 91-84 as a 5.5-point road underdog. The Razorbacks are 9-5 straight up, 5-9 against the spread at home, and both of these teams have been not good teams to back, although maybe fading Arkansas might not be a good thing here after their last couple of performances. But Arkansas is 8-18 against the spread overall. Missouri 8-18 straight up, 7-19 against the spread. The Tigers have lost 13 in a row, 5 L's by 12 or more. They haven't tasted victory since late December when they beat Central Arkansas. And I made Arkansas 7. Ken Palm's got Arkansas -5, a total of 147. Any thoughts here, Jay?
Which team has quit less?
Arkansas.
There you go.
Yeah, so Arkansas are pass. I think I like Arkansas on a money line parlay, and I can come up with some other potential teams for that as we go. All right, moving on. Vanderbilt at Florida, 1 p.m. Eastern, SEC Network. Before I get into a few stats on this game, let's just talk about the game at Alabama the other night. I assume you were able to watch, or did you have coaching duties? Did you watch? All right, good deal.
I did, and I tape a bunch of these games, and I actually watch them whenever I get the opportunity.
Right.
it's kind of shameful that Alabama player, the forward's elbow, and he's been suspended for a game, completely changed the whole tenor of that basketball game. That was a great basketball game, and from two teams. Florida's playing its best basketball of the season, and Alabama's good. I mean, Alabama is good, but a rugby scrum in the paint completely changed the entire tenor of that contest, and I'm disappointed by that, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and I will say, and I know you're not a big a UFC guy, but the UFC GOAT, John Bones Jones, he only has one loss on his career resume, and it was for a disqualification for using what they call an illegal downward 12-6 elbow. Um, it got him his only loss on his resume in the octagon in a mixed martial arts match. Not even a common foul at Coleman Coliseum.
Nope. Nope. Hey, jump ball. I was waiting for a jump ball. All right, hey, let's tip it out. Here we go.
So I don't like to complain about officials on the road because you are on the road. But anywho, I thought it was a great game. Florida woulda, coulda, shoulda. But like you just noted, Florida's playing great right now. 7-2, both straight up and against the spread last 9. Only losses overtime at Bama. Had a 10-point lead early second half. By 1 at A&M, had a double-digit lead in the second half of both of those. And look, and they almost blew a 21-point lead to Georgia, had to win in overtime. Almost blew a 22-point lead to LSU, had to win by 2. Florida has got to get better at closing out games, but I like a lot about what I'm seeing from my Gators. So
you should. And here's the other part of this. Is there a number that is too high for you, Florida at home? Because Vandy's getting walked right now, and Stackhouse he's dead man walking.
Yep.
I mean, Stackhouse it's not if, it's when. And right. So and everybody in the locker room has to know that. These are the moments, and one of the things I do in my afternoon email, the Jay's Plays, which you can sign up at timesfreepress.com. Good teams coming off a loss are more focused.
Right.
I expect Florida to play great Saturday. I mean, I'm completely comfortable laying 20 here.
Okay, so I wrote down 15. Ken Palm's got 18 with a total of 152. I would not lay 18. I might think about 15 or fewer, but our struggles to close games out, I could see us leading by 20 and winning by 12. So, I mean, I'm not implying it. I'm probably not going to be on this game.
Well, it not unlike the other snooze fest you mentioned that was Arkansas or pass. This has got to be Florida or pass, because you can't trust Vandy, because Vandy could show up and they could lose by 30 to anybody.
Yeah.
So, but no, I actually think Florida's got an NCAA ceiling.
Yeah, no, I did. My accounts aren't sometimes as generous on future odds as where you can, and I bet it Florida 75-1 last week. It was available at 100-1 at some places, and I'll look that up here in a minute to see what Florida is at Bet Online. All right, I'll just a couple of stats for those on Florida and Vandy, just to keep in mind. All right, the Gators have been double-digit favorites 8 times this year. They're only 2-5-1 ATS, but Vandy's played 7 road games, 0-7 straight up, 2-4-1 ATS. Vandy did sweep a pair of meetings last year, so maybe a little revenge angle for the Gators as well. As Todd Golden's 0-2 against Stackhouse. Florida 11-1 straight up, 6-6 against the spread. At home, they've won 6 in a row at home since losing by 2 at home to Kentucky in their SEC opener. All right, moving on. South Carolina at Ole Miss, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, SEC Network. Okay, in Lunardi's latest bracketology released on Tuesday, Ole Miss was the last team in, and then they lost at Mississippi State. So this is a vitally important game for Ole Miss, which is 14-1 straight up, 8-7 ATS in 15 home games. South Carolina 5-3 straight up, 6-2 ATS in 8 road games. But the Gamecocks have lost back-to-back games, including ruining a 5-leg parlay money line, which I had the first 4 legs covered, and South Carolina was the last leg to win outright last Saturday afternoon. Damn it! But South Carolina's had a week to prepare, just like Auburn's had a week to prepare, and South Carolina held off Ole Miss 68-65, led by many as 17 early in the second half, but Ole Miss stormed back and either got some people a backdoor push or a backdoor cover. They were +3 or 3.5, but that was in Columbia. Okay, I wrote down Ole Miss -3 or 3.5. Ken Palm's got Ole Miss only -1 and a total of 139. But with South Carolina's back-to-back losses, I think Ole Miss is going to be favored by more than one. Your thoughts, Jay?
Was it you that texted me after Auburn completely gutted South Carolina that this could be a ripple effect loss? Because they don't look like the same team. I mean,
no, I didn't text you about it hurting South Carolina going forward. That wasn't me.
But I mean, this is now. I mean, I wonder how they're going to rebound because they have not looked good,
right,
in any matter. And your point about desperation for Ole Miss is completely valid. And
now, urgency doesn't always translate into success, but it normally translates into effort and avoiding a no-show. Certainly.
Well, I'm real curious. I think this game's going to be a rock fight. If I had to play it, and there are better plays on the board. What'd you say the total was? 137?
139.
I would probably lean towards the under because South Carolina will guard and they'll slow it down. And I mean, you're talking about an Ole Miss team desperate to get in the tournament, and you're talking about a ranked South Carolina team, and it could very well be a pick'em game in Vegas's eyes. I mean,
and they had 133 combined in the first meeting, 68-65.
So, I mean, this is an under kind of situation for me, but I mean, I know a lot of our viewers and listeners and everybody out there, betting on unders is not super fun. I mean, you're wanting missed shot. I mean, yes, we all want to make money, but you're betting on missed shots and can we get a turnover? Now slow it down. Back it back out. Two. Let's set up the offense. I mean, no, that's nobody wants to watch that.
But people are probably going to be watching Alabama, Kentucky instead, and they all pay the same. So
they do all pay the same. Yes, we all want to win money, but
maybe I'm such a degenerate. I just don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what I got to root for. I like that money, so I could care less. But you're probably right. Our listeners probably don't want to. But unless you're an Ole Miss South Carolina fan, you're probably watching Alabama, Kentucky instead. But I think I think I'm gonna like Ole Miss, especially if they're 3 or fewer.
I would agree with that. I really do. I mean,
but I'm not against your under either. I mean that. But I think I would like Ole Miss better than the total. I just South Carolina has not looked impressive. Now they do have a week to prepare. But Ole Miss is in bounce back mode, and Ole Miss didn't play that bad. They were winning by 4 at halftime at the Hump the other night, but they just did not play that well down the stretch, obviously. All right, Alabama at Kentucky, 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS. I wrote down Kentucky -3, but Ken Baum's got Bama -2 with a whopping total of 178.
Yeah, they're going to be a whole lot of points scored.
Yeah.
Whole lot of points scored. Give me Kentucky here. Give me Kentucky
so
in every measure. It actually is one of my favorite plays of the weekend. Heartbreaker in Red Stick. A game that they probably should have won. I lost money on the Wildcats. I had a -5. I thought that was a good play earlier in the week. But no, here's the other part of this. I think Calipari realizes he needs to do better at Rupp because the home crowd, I mean, it's one of the it's you win at home, everybody walks away happy. They go, and then they go to Applebee's and they get an extra fudge cake, and all the vendors are happy, and everybody, God bless America, they have an extra cocktail. But Alabama without the forward who dropped the atomic elbow, Greg the Hammer Valentine, as I like to call him.
By the way, time out. Did you see that same guy tried to step on Janai Broom's hand when Auburn was at Alabama earlier in the year?
Yes.
Yeah, he's a total dirtbag.
Hey, that guy's dirtier than a Walmart floor bathroom. All right. I mean, let's just call it how it is. I mean,
I got no complaints.
Here's what's going to happen. Kentucky's going to score, and they're going to score a lot. And Alabama's going to score, and there's no way you can play the under in this because Alabama's pace is second to none. And that's a credit to Nate Oates because you look at what Alabama's done. Nate Oates lost 2 NBA draft picks. He lost several dudes to the portal. He replenished the roster, and he put pieces in to his style, and Alabama's great. I mean, Alabama's on pace to win the league and be a 3 seed or a 2 seed. I mean, when a lot of people thought it was going to be a rebuilding year, that's pretty doggone impressive. Now, granted, Nate Oates has got a punchable face. I mean, he stands over there on the sideline. Right there in the kisser, Nate Oates.
He was feeling himself the other night so much. He wore a yellow jacket.
Dare I say, he was feeling his oats.
He was feeling his oats. He wore a banana jacket and didn't give a damn.
Not a damn. Not a damn. Nate Oates is the guy who wears the banana hammock right there at PCB, right there in front of everybody, just goes, "Here I am in all my glory. What you got to say about it?"
Right.
Whether he's got a Vienna sausage or whether he's wearing the whole kit and caboodle. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So a couple other things on Bama. So I have talked about this. I got away from it for a little while in SEC play. Trying to think who they played last Saturday. I might have been back. But anyway, I was going to talk about Alabama's team totals. I did them over in the first half of the game very successfully in non-conference play. They weren't scoring at quite a high clip early in and I kind of got away from it. But I met a Bama buddy at the bar to watch the game the other night, and he had texted me earlier in the day. It's like 92.5. That's just too many. He didn't want to do it, and he goes, but it's my system. He does it every game. And he got there in overtime. But, Florida only shot 30% from 3. I mean, it's not like for an overtime game, 18 free throws is not a ton. 20 for Bama, that's not a ton. Bama shot 25% from 3. It was still 85 for 170 combined in regulation. Now, that would have been under what the total was. I think it closed 174. But that's just showing you mentioned the pace of Bama. I mean, Bama shot 44% from the field, 25% from 3. Florida shot 43% from the field, 30% from 3. neither team went to the free throw line, a ton of times, and yet it was still that high scoring of a game.
Well,
So
and in that regard too, Florida guards better than Kentucky does. So, I mean, this pace is and Kentucky's guards, when they're healthy with Dillingham and Reeves and Shepard and Wagner, and they've got this many ball handlers, and they can push, 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 push. It is it's a dizzying pace. It really is. That I mean, this could be 99-90. I mean,
yeah,
and in regulation.
yeah.
So there's no way I would ever play the under in anything Alabama does.
Mm-mm.
But I love Kentucky here. Kentucky is one of my 3 primary bets this weekend.
So I'm thinking, Kentucky by 3, but Ken Palm says Bama -2. Let's say the odds makers are more toward my line. I mean, would you lay more than 3? I
Yes.
mean,
At
preferably not.
home? Yeah.
Yeah.
But because here's the thing about that 3 number. That 3 number in a game that we're expecting to be close, I don't see Alabama going up there and blowing them out. If you're talking about game script and trying to figure out ways that the path to get to the finish line. So if it's a close game, one way or the other, and Alabama starts fouling, Kentucky's close to 80% from the free throw line. So 3 and 5 is not that big a difference to me when you're talking about. Now, if you want to get to 8 or something that's beyond the foul range, no, I probably wouldn't do that. But no, Kentucky's the play here. Kentucky is the play.
All right, just a couple more stats for our listeners. So the over's hitting 5 straight for Bama to improve to 19-7, and listen to these combined scores: 191, albeit that was the overtime game. It was 170 in regulation. 175 to A&M. Let's see, 201 at LSU, 180 at Auburn, and 166 against Mississippi State. Don't think Trey Mitchell is going to play, from what I was reading, and I don't know if he's playing anytime soon.
No, you keep him on the shelf till the tournament.
Yeah,
I mean, you let him get completely healthy, because their offense with him on the floor, Kentucky can score with you now. I think Kentucky's got the highest SEC ceiling in terms of the tournament. Now, they could get also bounced by a 13 seed who gets hot because they can't guard. But in terms of NBA talent and dudes, Kentucky is loaded.
Yeah. When I think of the seat, like, I always think in March, live by the 3, you're going to die by the 3. And so I kind of think that with Bama to some extent. I mean, I think they're definitely a Sweet 16 team, but from that point on, they're going to have to shoot threes well. And I don't know that you can count on that. And then with Tennessee, it's just Rick Barnes. I mean, I think Rick Barnes has definitely got his best team at Tennessee. Well, that Admiral Schofield team that lost to that great Sweet 16 game to Purdue, that was a damn good team. But he has his best scorer with Dalton Connect. And so I think Tennessee can maybe bring, but Barnes' history in March is so damn bad.
Yeah, terrible.
Terrible.
I mean, and I will also say this. It's impossible now for me to father another child because of procedures and whatever else. And I'm sharing a lot with our viewers and listeners right now. But if I did have another child, boy or girl, I would name them Admiral. I think that is a wonderful name.
Me too.
Admiral Greeson would be my next child.
I love Admiral.
Have you met my son or daughter, Admiral? God bless. God bless. Here is Admiral. Have you met Admiral? Have you met
Admiral? Maybe I would name mine Lieutenant.
Okay. Hey, here's Colonel Edwards.
Oh, Colonel's not bad either. Yeah. All right, moving on. Auburn at Georgia, 6 o'clock. All right, this is an interesting game because Jalen.
Blowout. Blowout.
By Auburn?
Yeah. Auburn's going to kick the ever-living snot out of them.
Even without Jalen Williams?
Yep. Can you imagine what practice has been like after the complete turd in the punch bowl they floated on the national stage at home last Saturday, and then they had Wednesday off, and it's now been just a grind? They are going to walk Georgia to the curb.
All right, here's Jalen Williams' stats: 13 points a game, 4.7 rebounds, 1.9 assists. He shoots 58.1% from the field, 41.4 from three, 81% from the line. So you think he's probably done until the SEC tournament, if then, or?
Well, I think they're going to be very, very cautious. I mean, I think you have to err on. Auburn has a ticket to the dance, period.
Of course.
They could lose out, and they're still going to be probably in the tournament. So at this point in time, you've got to manage risk. And in that regard, you don't want to put him out there and be in harm's way because he's that big of a piece of what your ultimate dreams are. But this one's going to get nasty.
Okay. All right. Auburn, 20-6 straight up, 16-8-2 ATS. They're 3-4 straight up, 3-3-1 against the spread on the road. Georgia ends its 6-game losing streak with a win over Vandy the other night in Nashville. Georgia is 11-4 straight up, 5-9-1 against the spread. At home, I wrote down 4.5 last night before considering the Jalen Williams injury. So I'm thinking more like 4, but KenPom has it at 8. If it's 8, I'll be on Georgia. I might even, the week to prepare is obviously a good thing for Auburn, that is. But Georgia getting off the schneid, probably have a decent crowd.
Yeah, but it was Vandy.
This is true. This is true. That's an excellent counterpoint. I'm glad you pushed.
Let off the schneid, but sweet Jesus, I could put together 5 guys out here at the parking lot at the TFP, and we'll hold Vandy to. I mean, it'll be a 5-point game.
I bet on them though, so I feel pretty good. Like they got off the schneid and handed me a winner, so I'm okay with it. I know
you're okay with it. You know why? Because it's all about it's Big Brian, little team. I mean, hey, I was sitting in a locker room playing high school football, and our Coach Allison, unloaded the very familiar, there is no I in team. And one of my buddies was sitting over there, and he was a cornerback, and he ended up going to play college football. He goes, yeah, but there's an I in scholarship, mother bleeper. And the whole place just fell out. You are, there's an I in scholarship in Brian Edwards' view. You know,
there's multiple I's in the phrase betting winners.
Yes.
Multiple I's in that. All right, let's move on. Texas A&M at Tennessee. Okay, a little, not really breaking news. And I've said this before. I'm not implying Joe Lunardi is the end-all, be-all bracketologist, but, I will point out that I said last week he had Ole Miss as the last team in. Or I'm sorry, on Tuesday he had Ole Miss as the last team in. Now Texas A&M is the last team in because what a awful home loss to Arkansas the other night. And by the way, Lunardi's latest, which came out this morning, he has Ole Miss in his first 4 out, but they are the second team out. Wake Forest is the first team out. And another thing, back to Kentucky, I mean, just to mention this in terms of like how bad they need that win against Bama tomorrow, they're now a 6 seed. So they're starting to lose their seeding. Well, it was a loss at LSU. Actually, they obviously had the big win against Auburn, but then they had those, home losses to Florida, Gonzaga. Who else beat them at home? Somebody else. So Kentucky needs to improve its seed. Is there a 6 seed now in terms of Lunardi? All right, Texas A&M at Tennessee, 8 p.m. Now A&M could do their resume a lot of justice with a win at Tennessee, but that's going to be hard. Tennessee 12-1 straight up, 8-4-1 ATS at home. A&M 4-5, but straight up and against the spread on the road. I wrote down Vols -10. Ken Palm's got it 11 and 143. I like Tennessee in a money line parlay, like I like Arkansas. I don't know that I would. I'm not going to lay that many though. Your thoughts on this matchup?
All right, my first thought is you went into a little bit of a soliloquy there that felt like the gambling version of Forrest Gump playing ping pong in front of all of the military guys, and he's just banging ping pong balls off the
Oh, right.
wall. Because
Yes.
I mean, I was enthralled. I was going. I mean, I didn't
Got it
know.
all in my notes right here in front of me,
Yeah,
brother.
I mean, you've got all these stats and all this information, and it's. You're the gambling Forrest Gump. God bless you. The
I'll take it.
short answer: 11 is too many. 11 is too many. I don't like a side because Tennessee can mess around and blow you out, but I think both of these coaches are, and I don't really know the best way to describe this, but they grind on their players so much that by the time Buzz Williams and Rick Barnes, by the time the end of the year gets here, their players are exhausted. And I mean, it's one of the reasons why I think neither one of these guys have had a whole lot of tournament success, because you start grinding on these guys over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, Tennessee is deep and they are talented, and they have the one thing Auburn doesn't have, and that's Dalton Connect. And because he is a tie game, we're gonna isolate him on the wing, and good luck stopping him because dude can score. Dude is a dude. So he's a lottery pick, and he can put the ball in the hoop. But
Go ahead.
but I there's I mean, Texas A&M's desperate. Tennessee's probably a little bit happy. I mean, they just beat Vandy by a billion, and we all know they're tournament bound, and it's kind of you going through the process, and you're walking into early March, late February, and I think Texas A&M is going to give them all they got. But I mean, if this is double-digit line, I love your idea. Love your idea of coupling a couple of these SEC games in a money line parlay, including Tennessee. Do I think Tennessee wins? Absolutely. But man, Tennessee did not look good this week at Missouri.
No, although I hit a live bet -2.5, and they were down by like 7. So
There is no I in team, but there is an I in scholarship.
how did I know? So Lunardi's latest has Tennessee as a 2 seed, Auburn as a 4 seed, Florida as a 7 seed, Mississippi State as a 9 seed. I said Kentucky as a 6 seed. So it's Alabama that I'm missing, and I'm looking for them now.
3?
I'm looking for the 2s and 3s. Where are the 3s? Oh shoot, sorry. Let's see. They're not on. Oh yeah, 3. Yep. They are a 3 seed in South Carolina, a 7 seed. Okay. Tennessee does have the revenge angle. They lost 85-69 in College Station, just like around 2 weeks ago. All righty, last game on the board: Mississippi State At LSU, I just noted Mississippi State a 9 seed, so somewhat comfortably in, but don't need any bad losses. At LSU, Mississippi State is only 1-6, both straight up and against the spread on the road, and the only win and cover was at Missouri. Keep that in mind. And now LSU 3 straight spread covers. They lose by 2 at Florida. They win by 1 at South Carolina, and they win by 1 against Kentucky. So they're suddenly playing pretty good ball. So I wrote down LSU -3 is my line, but Ken Palm's got Mississippi State -2 and 144. If LSU's a home dog, I'm going to be on them. Not huge
I
opinion, but
completely agree.
yeah.
Completely agree. Mississippi State's best win was a terrible Auburn showing, and yeah, I know they handled Ole Miss in the second half earlier this week, but I wish I had done a little due diligence here. The back-to-back home game in conference play, like LSU getting to play Kentucky at home and now getting to play Saturday at home, I bet that back-to-back home game is quite beneficial for players.
Yeah,
Because
no travel.
you're not traveling, you're not, I mean, your routine is the same. You get a whole lot of opportunities to just be a ball player. And
Yeah.
no, LSU is, if I had to rank my 3 plays of the weekend, LSU is on the list, Kentucky is on the list, and Auburn at Georgia is on the list.
All right. My list would be LSU, but not like the number 1. Georgia would be on the list if they're getting as many as 7 or 8, which I don't think they're going to be getting that many. I guess I probably would not play Georgia. Yeah, I probably got to be getting 7. So 6 or fewer, it's a pass. I like Ole Miss at 3 or fewer. And then Florida's a pass. I like Arkansas in a money line parlay with Tennessee, and maybe I can come up with another team or two here in a minute. All right, so that's where we are. All right. One last thing before we roll out of here, our good friends at Bet Online. I was just going to mention the odds to win the national title. I'll do like all the teams here at the start, but then I'll just go through SEC teams. So UConn, the plus 450 favorite at Bet Online. Purdue plus 800 or 8-1, Houston 8-1, UNC 12-1, Arizona 14-1, Tennessee 14-1, Duke and Bama are 20-1. Auburn and Kansas and Iowa State are 22-1. And now I'll just mention SEC teams. Kentucky 33-1. Florida is 75-1. It's kind of attractive, I believe. They seem to be getting better. Their young big men are getting better. Let's see. We've got Mississippi State 100-1, South Carolina 100-1, which I have that ticket, which is not looking nearly as good as when I bought it. Ole Miss 150-1, and I think that covered our top 9 teams. Are there any teams you like with a future play?
I love Kentucky at 33-1.
That's what I thought you would say.
Yep.
Now FAU they got a pretty good win last night, but they the loss at USF Lunardi has now got them down into an 8-9 game. But if you don't have a future ticket on FAU at 100-1, they caught lightning in a bottle last year. It's the same guys. And
if Kentucky is healthy, if
right.
Trey Mitchell comes back and all those perimeter dudes are healthy, you're talking about 7 NBA dudes on your roster. And yeah, Kentucky has had that many NBA dudes for the last decade on almost every roster, and they've pooped the bed. And so be it. It is what it is. But at 33-1, do I think Kentucky has more talent than Purdue? Yes. Yes, I do. And do I think they have as much talent as UConn? It's pretty close. It's pretty close, but instead of plus 450, I'm getting 33-1. So, and we also know this. When you start going to neutral sites, if Kentucky goes on a run, Big Blue Nation will travel.
Their NCAA tournament games are home games, unless they're playing
they're you're now looking at home games. I mean, whether you're in Kansas City or Orlando.
Yes.
So, I mean, at 33-1, I love Kentucky to win it all. Now, I'm also I got invested at Auburn very early on and
got What's that number? What's that number?
Well, that number actually it was only 40-1.
Oh, but that's a good number though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I've got Clemson 70-1, UConn only 10-1, but I bet $100 on it. And I was saying after Creighton lost at home to Butler, I was saying 60-1, but my accounts 40-1 for me, unfortunately. But I'm feeling pretty good about that Creighton 40-1. And then I have Florida 75-1. All right. Any party? Tell them how to get Jay's plays and 5 at 10 and all that good stuff.
Well, the 5 at 10 is my Monday through Friday online column at timesfreepress.com. You can see it there every day. It's 5 things I'm thinking about at 10 a.m. Jay's plays is my afternoon email. Bro, I struggled this week. Bad.
Oh, what are you down to? Only plus 80 units over a year?
No. I'm at plus 96 units. But
it wasn't that big a struggle then.
Well, yeah, but I was up over 100, and I was like bragging about it. Then, hey, as Crash Davis told us, player on a streak has got to respect the streak.
That's right.
Because they don't come around that long.
And he was saying that in terms of Nuke Deluche not having coitus.
Yes. And Annie Savoy.
Susan Sarandon.
I mean, who the hell are you?
Right.
I mean, dear Lord. I mean, Sister Brian Edwards in the nunnery is now using proper terms and details. No, but you can find it all at timesfreepress.com. Look around, enjoy doing this with you, my man. Even though there is no IN team, but there is in winning
betting winners. That's right. All right, just a couple of teams that I think you could be good with in a money line parlay, along with the 2 SEC teams I gave out, which were Arkansas at home to Missouri and Tennessee at home to A&M. UConn at home to Villanova could go with that. I think Clemson at home to FSU could go in that. And there was another one I think Pitt at home to Virginia Tech can probably go in that. So that's just a couple of options. I mean, if you get it to where it's, a small plus, you don't need to have 5-6 teams. I just don't know that it would even be even money with Tennessee and Arkansas. It'd probably be close to even money. All right. On Twitter at Vegas B. Edwards, I'll be tweeting some live opinions, like, in-game bets opinions tomorrow. Thanks as always for listening. Thanks to our good friends at Bet Online and Southeastern 14. For Jay Greeson, I'm Brian Edwards, and another edition of Bets and Ball Games with Edwards and Greeson is in the books. Have a great weekend. Good luck with your bets. We are out.